Welcome back to the gun dungeon, guys. I told y'all in the last reloading and rambling I would be reloading something different, and I am. I'm reloading some of these little 71 grain 32 ACPs, just a Barry's plated bullet with some HP 38 here. They're actually doing pretty good. I chronographed this specific load, getting a little over 900, I think 950-ish average feet per second out of that little bullet, so not too terribly sluggish. But I'll tell you one thing I found is I was going to use Tight Group for this load development, and I couldn't because this doesn't go down small enough, and this is the adjustable charge bar here, and the smallest hole that I have for this auto disc is a 0.30, and it throws way over the maximum listed charge. So I had to use HP 38, and even then I'm right on that edge with it because it's a little more fluffy powder. It's like a flakier powder. Tight Group is a very dense powder, so volume wise a little more forgiving with the HP 38 here. But keep that in mind if you're going to load 32 ACP. The charges are so light that you may have a hard time getting that little of powder from your powder dispenser. So now that I'm sitting here loading up some 32, which I always said I would never do, never really thought I would have much interest in any 32 caliber stuff a long time ago. And that kind of leads me to my topic today, is how many calibers, shouldn't say calibers because that's a measurement of diameter, how many cartridges, different types of cartridges, should you have? How many do you need? Now, need and should you have are two vastly different things. I could get by, oh, that's something sticky on that. I could get by with as few as 2, 3, probably 3. I could get by with probably 12 gauge. I think we've had this discussion before. I could get by with probably 12 gauge, either 6.5 Grendel or 308 in a rifle, and 940. Either one of those would be great. 357 SIG, 10 millimeter. Any one of those as a handgun cartridge, I could get by with just one handgun cartridge, one rifle cartridge, one shotgun cartridge. I could get by with that just fine. Now, should you have, now that's a total different story, and that is going to be determined by several different things. One being, how many do you want? That's the most important thing. Used to, I would look at a cartridge and I'd be like, I don't have a use for that. I don't have anywhere in my needs where that's going to fill a role that's not already being filled. And I used to kind of dictate what I would purchase based on needs. Well, I've stopped doing that, and I'm glad that I have, because I found that a lot of those cartridges I never really thought useful, I really like. Like, for instance, 5.7 by 28. For the longest time, I looked at it and I was like, that is probably the dumbest cartridge known to man. Why would I want that expensive little light thing that doesn't do straight out of handgun, blah, blah, blah. But I tried it and I enjoyed it and I saw its merits. That's how you got to typically go about things, is just try it, see what you think about it for yourself, and don't judge a book by its cover. Everything on paper isn't what translates out to real world. Sometimes you just like something for no particular reason. Like this little 32. Like, I've started getting into shooting more 32 stuff, and I never figured I would like it, but I do. Because of rifle cartridges. Like, how specific do you want to be when it comes to your needs? Like, a 308 could probably do about anything you wanted it to do, but maybe you want something more tailored to a heavy slow brush gun, or a long range flat trajectory gun, or something like that. You've got to kind of determine what your needs are and you know how close you want to be to the highest performance in that need, if that makes any sense, for that specific niche that you want your rifle cartridge to do. How close do you need to be to the peak performance of that? There are all kinds, like let's just use you want to shoot antelope at 450 to 600 yards. All kinds of cartridges can do it, but there are a lot of cartridges that can do it better. There's probably one specifically for you with the acceptable amount of recoil, the acceptable price, favorite name, it doesn't matter. That is going to be the cartridge for that specific niche. How specific do you want to be on that need? That's one way to determine how many cartridges you need. And another one is just sheer enjoyment. Like I've said several times to people, I have really, one of my reloading ramblings recently talking about, you know, how large of a rifle round do you need? You know, I don't have big old Magnum boomers, but I get it for those that do, that don't even have a need for it. Like I wouldn't mind to have one. I used to have a 7mm rim mag, probably one of the bigger Magnum cartridges I've had, and I did hunt with it. Didn't really need that much gun, but I enjoyed the big boom, you know, the big old Magnum. That was her. You get it. You guys get it. But, you know, if that's what you like, that's what you like. Get the biggest you want. Get the big old house cat. Get your big 338 Lapua Magnum and send that boy downrange. Sometimes want the smile factor, the fun factor, the laughs with your buddies. That means more than any need that you may or may not have. So to me, I think having lots of different things comes with lots of fun. You get to play with different stuff. You get to see different perspectives of how things perform, light and fast, slow and heavy. You get to play with all that stuff. Old cartridges that are lower pressure have a different feel to them than, say, new high pressure cartridges. I don't know how to explain it. They just do. The old 4570 just feels different than a lot of rounds that put out the same or equal kind of energy. Just something to it. You just got to try it. So I say there are little nuances to certain things that you can't pick up by reading a magazine article about it, or reading somebody else's opinion about it, or looking at the specifications or the data or whatever. You just can't pick up on all the little nuances that you would by just trying it, seeing what you think. Now, I am starting to run into a situation where my caliber footprint, cartridge footprint, is getting so broad that keeping up with this is becoming a bit of a task. But, you know, it is what it is. It's one of those, everything has a trade-off, and having many different types of rounds comes with having to reload many different types of rounds. It also comes with having to store many different cartridges, and storage space gets a little tight. And some of my cartridges, like I have a whole lot of 9mm, I have a whole lot of 223. Trying to get a whole lot of 300 blackout, because I'm kind of phasing 300 blackout into the 7.62x3.9 roll, since it's not super cheap anymore. I used to have a whole bunch of the Wolf Steel Case 7.62x3.9 stocked up. I still have a lot of it because I've just about quit shooting it so much, because I can't replace it for as cheap as I bought it for, or even close to it. 300 blackout, I can kind of load that pretty cheap, and that's kind of taken that role. So, and like I said, before I got sidetracked there, this is a rambling video. I do ramble. But, you know, you're going to store more of certain rounds than you are other rounds. Like this little 32 ACP here, like I hardly had anything stocked up for it, which is why I started reloading it, because I went to buy a bunch of factory ammo for it, and I was like, Jesus Christ, that's a whole lot of money for not a whole lot of lead I'm getting. I was like, well, I'll get the old press fired up, and that's what I'm doing. So anyways. But yeah, you're going to store more of other, but you don't want to have none of a certain cartridge that you have. You don't want to have 5 or 10. I mean, you don't want to have at least 50 or 100 rounds of everything you got. And whenever your footprint of calibers and cartridges gets so broad, even just having 2 or 3 boxes of each kind takes up a lot of space. I've got a whole, it is about 7 foot tall shelf here, about 5 foot wide, 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves on it, plumb full. All underneath is stocked with boxes and cases of ammunition. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times road, so 10 30 cal cans full. About, I don't know, 10 15 of those smaller plastic ammo cans full laying here. Then I've got a shelf over here of nothing but Tupperware totes full of reloads. It's 3 foot wide, 4 foot tall probably, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shelves on it, all plumb full. That's just what you run into, fellas. That is what you run into. So I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. How many cartridges, different types of cartridges, should one have, and what are they? That's what I want to know, because I'm going to say you should have all of them, and you should have all the fun ones, all the big ones, all the small ones, all the odd ones. That's the kind of stuff I like. I like oddball stuff. But let me know what you all think down below. Until next time, guys, stay tuned.